your own dog food, how and why would I even bother? Hello, Becca here. The other day I had mentioned we cook our own dog food. And I had questions and comments back to me of cooking your own dog food, how and why would I even bother? So I need to start a pot of dog food, so I will bring you along in the process. I make the dog food different, or a little different every time, to give different vitamins and different taste. And the dogs like it. So a lot of times I will just go through the pantry or their fridge and see what needs to be gotten rid of. And today I have 2 half bags of, I have a bag of black beans and then a little bit of rice. So I'm going to use those. And then I also have a 3-pound log of beef. So I'm going to put that in my Instapot. And I have a little bit of sweet potato left over from creating dinner. So I'm going to cut this up and put it in after I cook. And then I will grab some vegetables out of the fridge. Just kind of go through the fridge and throw some vegetables in. But that is for a little later. But right now, I need to fill up my Instapot, and I'm going to fill it up with the beef, and then I'll probably just go ahead and add the rice to it to get the beef and the rice cooked, and then I will cook another batch with the beans. But let's get the pot cooking. So I went through the fridge, and I pulled out some floppy celery, and I've got some okra that's seen better days. I've got the sweet potato left over from tonight's dinner, and then I found some carrots. So I'm just going to chop these up. The dogs like eating these raw, so I don't have to cook them. So I'm just going to chop them up and put them in the pot, if I could reach the pot, put them in the pot while their meat and rice is cooking in the Instapot. So there we go. I have veggies all chopped up, and I have Yoda sitting here waiting for a treat. See, there's Yoda. Yeah. Yoda likes his sweet potatoes. I have caught these dogs grabbing sweet potatoes, squash, all sorts of things that I used to have on the shelf down below. I even put them in containers, and that container is the potato container, which used to be down there. And of course, every once in a while I would pull out a potato and forget to push back the container and they would help themselves. I will put a picture in right here to show you the massive potatoes that they have had. I've also come into the house after working in the garden all day, and I used to put squash. I used to put my squash on this shelf right here, which, as you can see, it's the third shelf up. And they got my acorn squash, 2 of them in one day, with my avocados. So I have since then moved things around to keep my veggie thieves from getting into all of our veggies. Not that I really don't want them to have it, you know, of course they can have vegetables just like us, but they don't need to be like a kid in the candy store. So I'm going to finish letting this cook. All right, the rice and ground beef is done cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out and throw it in our pot here so I can start cooking the beans. So my rice and ground beef is done cooking, and I'm fixing to take it out. There's a lot of fat in this, so I'm going to strain it, and then I'm going to be putting it back in with the beans just to get that taste in with the beans when I'm cooking the beans. So let's see how big of a mess I can make with this. Doesn't that look yummy? All right, so I'm going to break that up and then throw it in the pot that I am putting all the food in for the dogs. Quite a bit of grease and water, so I'm just going to pour it back in and use it for the beans. So that was about 1 pound of beans. I'm going to put it back in the pressure cooker. Alright, now that I got my lid clean, I need to put some more water in this for the beans. Just giving it a little stir. All right, closing it up, making sure the vent is closed, everything is setting correctly. So for this pressure cooker, I have found that just using these buttons, they're already timed buttons. The bean and chili one, I have found that that's only good for pinto beans. It doesn't really cook the red beans and the black beans all that well. I have also found that the meat and stew one does. So just to make it easy on myself, that's what I use. So it is ready to start, and I think it was 35 minutes plus the depressurizing. We will be back. All right, the beans are done cooking. So now I'm going to take the beans and put them in the pot with the rice and meat and all of the vegetables that I chopped up earlier. I'll put the beans in with that. So there it is. Oh, the dog even knows what it is. Let me show you. Hey, Yoda. He knows that's his dog food. So now for a breakdown of the why I do this. All right, we have been looking for a good dog food for the dogs for a couple of years. And we've used the Blue Buffalo. The last bit of dog food that we bought, which was over 6 months ago, was the Diamond Natural. So I'm using that as a baseline of expense. So the Diamond Natural on Amazon is $36.99, and we would go through 2.5 to 3 bags a month. 2.5 to 3 bags a month, which boils down to $92.47. So we can just round it up to 95 or even round it down to 90. It really doesn't matter, because I'll break down how much a month's worth of food is making it at home. So I use I just went ahead and used the ground beef as my example, but the dogs eat many different types of meat and many different cuts. But anyway, I use the ground beef as the example, and I went ahead and put down that I put down 4 loaves of the ground beef. And that was 3 pounds, so that is 12 pounds of ground beef in a month for the dogs. And then I went ahead and added a bag of frozen vegetables, or added a 10-pound bag of pinto beans, a 2-pound bag of black beans, a 1-pound bag of rice, and a 1-pound bag of red beans. So that is what we would use about in a month, and that come up to $60.81. So if you remember, I said the Diamond Natural, the dog food that we were buying at 2.5 bags a month, cost over $90. And the new food, or the food that I'm creating, is costing us $61. That is a $30 difference. That's like that's a savings of a whole bag of dog food. Now I want to put an asterisk here. That's my asterisk. But I want to put an asterisk here because we don't just serve them that food. They get food from the garden. They get extra food that's been sitting in the fridge for a couple of days. They get a variety of food, whether it's chicken or venison or a piece of steak or bones from the steak. When I cook chicken soup, they get the broth from the soup, and I will put that in when cooking rice or beans or something like that. So they're getting a large variety of food, which is important. And the reason it's important is the different nutrients. Now, if you think about 100, 200 years ago, what dogs ate, they were scavengers. You know, they scavenged the food that the humans left for them, or they would get bits and pieces of the meat when the animals were butchered. And we intend on doing that. You know, we plan on hunting season, they getting some of the organ meats, different types of cuts. I'll cook with the bones, and I do order like soup bones, and I pick up different types of meat like livers and things like that. So they do get a variety of meat. I just thought for simplicity's sake to nail down how much we are spending versus saving, you know, so on and so forth. So that is still a tremendous savings that we're getting, and the dogs are getting quality food. When we were buying Blue Buffalo, the dogs didn't like it. That's my Jade dog. She didn't like any dog food that we bought. She would just kind of nibble at it. She would be overweight, kind of lethargic, kind of sad, weren't you? But anyway, she has really perked up since we have been making their food. She seems to be more of a dog. And of course, Yoda here, he likes anything that we feed him. He's not a picky eater. But Jade, she was just kind of sad. But they are both doing very well on their diet of eating human food. And mind you, they are not eating processed foods. We don't eat processed foods. They don't eat processed foods. Other than maybe a piece of pizza every once in a while, you know, something along those lines. But we don't eat a lot of food from the standard American diet. And they don't either. So, and I do realize this isn't an option for everybody. He keeps nosing me. My dogs do love their food. They seem to be doing very well on their food. We are confident that they're doing well on their food. They act good. They look good. They're more energetic. And we like how it's all going. Now, it does add a little bit more work for me as the mother and the one that's running the household here, but not too terribly bad, especially using the pressure cooker. It goes really fast. I can fix that up, and that meal that I fixed for them today will last throughout the week. So I put the pot in the fridge, and then dish them out their food every day, and it works out. It works for us. You know, I've got one kid that he is all about convenience, and he will dive into the dog food. I got a kid that eats dog food. There's not very many people that can say that and actually admit it and not have a problem with it, because all the food in there is food. You know, it's not like I'm putting rotten food in there or ground up bone or anything along those lines. I keep it edible because I know we could be diving in it as well, and it's not a big deal. So that's our story on creating dog food. Leave in the comment section if you create your own dog food and your recipes or how you deal with it. I hope this information was informative for you. If you like this information, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe. I will talk to you again soon, and until then, get healthy, be happy, and herbal on. See ya. I tell you one thing, my thumbnail photo was the hardest to take. You got to see the different photos.